at the end. Hey everyone, Suzanne Taylor here for a bonus session on how to say no and how to stop comparing yourself. And I'm going to leave everybody unmuted for this whole thing because, well, unless there's noise in the background, because there's going to be some screen sharing of a couple mind maps that I've made on these two topics. And I really think we could end up with a really organic, really great kind of laser coaching discussion session. So first, I'm going to say a little bit about comparing yourself to other people. And this was a big, big thing for me. Because of the fact that I was out there and online and realizing that I was different from everyone else was really the key. The way I do things is different. My certifications are different. The way I approach coaching is different, and it's evolving and it's growing and changing just like everybody else. So I had to realize one of those things and also realize my age and not compare myself to 25 somethings, on Instagram. And that unique perspective that I was able to tap into and my natural confidence kind of helped in this situation. But if you are struggling with comparing yourself to the people next door or social media, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. It means you're really not sitting in complete happiness and satisfaction with who you are. And why is that is really the key. My puppy is starting to bark whenever I talk to the computer. It's like she's jealous. So we're raised to kind of go along with society, to these BS rules, right? To be like everybody else, keep up with the Joneses. There's all kinds of sayings that go with this. And if you don't fit in with those society norms, you feel like you're going to be... Hold on one second. Come here, Miss. Come here. Come here. All right, we'll see how this goes. I might have to get her a bone. Yes, I'm going to have to. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. All right, sorry about that. The puppy dumbs have begun, 10 months old, and oh my goodness. All right, so where was I? All right, so we kind of feel like if we don't fit into this normal, so-called normal, that people are going to disapprove of us. And I want to just say that those differences allow you to find your own unique solutions to life and your own unique life path. And it also keeps you from being boring, because truly, if everybody were the same, there'd be nothing new to discover. So, like, let's sit in that for a second, because that's kind of a cool way to look at it. And, there's sometimes when you want to conform, when you need to follow the rules and, country, community, anything like that. But we also want to look at how we're treating others with respect so that we get that back. That's important, right? But if we're always acting and dressing and hair and makeup and in a way that we think is going to measure up for other people, we're not really able to tap in and live our life at its fullest, at its best, as its most unique expression of ourselves. And if we get out of the habit of comparing ourselves to others, not setting unrealistic expectations of ourselves, we find we're less disappointed. So I'll give you an example. If there was no one to compare myself to, I would feel like I'm strong, I'm fit, and I'm in awesome shape. But the second we go looking for someone else who's in great shape and the six-pack abs and the this and the that and that, you don't realize subconsciously how much went into looking like that. I know because I've done it. It's a lot. And all we see is the picture. So I want to challenge you for 1 week or even just the weekend, since it's Friday today going into the weekend, to not look at any social media and see how you feel Monday morning. And I'm going to unmute you and see how you feel about that. How that feel to not look at social media for the weekend?
I think it's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like one of my weak points is that when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I check my phone. I'll check my text messages, then I'll go along to my email. And then the next thing is like Facebook and Instagram. And that's such a bad way to start the day.
Yeah, because you're starting with inputs rather than starting from here and being connected and who do I want to be and how do I want to show up. You're allowing crap in first.
Exactly. Yep.
So try it for one day. And by cultivating, all right, who is Linda? How does she want to show up today? What does she want to present to the world? Now, I'm not saying that later on in the day you couldn't post for your business on social media, but posting is different from scrolling and reading and sharing, and that's totally different.
Right.
So if you wake up in the morning to start that day with a minute of breathing and a minute of connecting, all right, how do I want to show up today? It's Saturday. I'm going to be connected with my family. I'm not going to have my phone in my hands at all. And I'm going to see at 1 o'clock, how do I feel? Do I feel better than the days I start with the inputs? Do I feel more confident? Do I feel more me rather than worrying about what everyone else is doing? And just look at it as a social experiment to see the difference.
Okay.
Awesome. And I want to just add that I was doing some work along this digital detox thing that I've been on lately. And I read a great book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. And I'm happy to share the notes on that book if you don't want to read the whole book. But the principle behind it is, now the author does no social media. He doesn't even have a social media profile. I wouldn't go that far. But he truly believes in disconnecting, especially at least for an hour. I disconnect for 2 hours in the morning. I don't touch my phone until 9 o'clock. That's the beginning of my workday. So if you text me at 8 o'clock at night, I am not going to respond until after 9 o'clock the next morning, because seriously, my phone is off and in my purse. It has to be out of sight. Otherwise, I'll pick it up unconsciously. So for me, after dinner time, I give one last check of email and text messaging. The phone gets turned off, plugged in, put in my purse, and I don't look at it until 9 o'clock the next morning. And I get up at 5:30. So 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'm up, I'm doing my morning routine without any influence from the outside world, which is, wow, it was hard at first, but it's been really amazing what it's done for not only my business, my work, my writing, and my self-confidence. And what did it for me, what sealed the deal and helped with this self-comparison thing was the fact that, we have a limited amount of time on earth, face it, right? And I didn't want having my phone in my hands to occupy 9, 10, 15 years of my life like it does for most people. That's the statistic right now. Between 9 and 15 years of your life, you will spend on your phone or with it in your hands. Now, that's also measuring, the younger generation that spends much more time on phone or iPad. So I wanted to make the choice that I was going to use technology, yes, of course, but I wanted to be the controller of that technology and figure out what my parameters were. And everybody's going to have different parameters, but if you're really struggling with comparison, this is the place to start. And I'll leave you with this. Think about the last time you followed maybe a social media influencer, or maybe looked at some movie star or famous person on social media. Did you ever see anything bad in the feed? Did you ever see anything that wasn't attractive, wasn't optimal, was negative thinking? Not usually. So people only show their best features out there on social media. So I want you to keep that in mind too. Now I'm going to do a screen share of my self-comparison mind map. Let me just pull that up. Now, if you're on your phone, you might not be able to see this whole mind map, but we're going to start right in the center. Let me know if you can see this. I have you unmuted if you have any questions. So right in the center, if you've never made a mind map before, this will give you the basics of it, and it's really, really helpful. So in the middle, we have stop comparing yourself to others. So I just spoke of number 6 on the top left. You have a short time on this planet. Now let's take that a step further. If you spend time trying to be like someone else, you're going to be in for a rough ride. Stick with who you are and find others that are accepting of you. You and the other people will be so much more satisfied. So this goes back to creating that tribe of people. It doesn't have to be an online tribe. It can be a tribe of people who get you. And it doesn't take long to see through the disguise of somebody who's just pretending for social media. And I'm sure we all know someone who puts their best face forward on social media, but then when you're with them, they might feel negative, or maybe you know that their life's not that great. So we all know that this is happening. Number 5 in the middle on the left, don't redefine yourself. Of course, there's qualities that you admire in other people, and there's nothing wrong with having a mentor or seeing qualities in other people that you'd like to adapt yourself. One of my good friends is a vegan, and her food and her discipline with how she eats, to me, is enviable. If I lived with her, I would eat exactly like she does, because it's this example that you have, right? So I let her lead me in the more plant-based lifestyle. Now, even though I'm a nutritionist, I know what to do. Having that person who in my life does that, motivates me, is awesome. Am I comparing myself to her? No. So, if you want to adopt traits, awesome, but not I don't look at her and say, oh, she's perfect and I want to be like that. I'm not good enough, whatever. No, I look at her as like this awesome example and I'm following her for motivation. And being like people you admire is okay, but you're not them and you're not gonna like turn into every trait that they have. But taking little bits and pieces is awesome. Um, Getting out of the habit of comparing yourself to other people. Um, how many of us set unrealistic expectations for ourselves because of what other people are doing? Like, yes, yes, absolutely. Um, that can lead to resenting ourselves, negative self-talk, and really it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with what your subconscious is seeing on a daily basis. Um, Celebrating your differences is really just a matter of writing them down. And if you take 5 minutes in your journal and write down what makes you different than other people who do what you do, amazing. Just do it. Just take 5 minutes and in your journal, celebrate your differences. And, if it's career wise, love wise, parenting wise, celebrate your experiences and your differences. And that helps you be a little bit happier with who you are. And as far as conforming to society, number two, listen, I think society has a lot of bullshit rules that we all just blindly follow. And I mean, I'll give you an example of wearing white pants after Labor Day. Nonsense. My mom lived by that rule her whole entire life. And I put on my white jeans about a week and a half ago, and I heard that BS rule come up, and I was like, forget it. Right? So I actually heard it in my head. Oh, it's after Labor Day. Shouldn't wear white pants. But really, that was my mom's rule. That was an old thing that it's really not true. So why are we listening to it? And then follow some rules for yourself. You need to follow laws and community guidelines, right? If you have an association in your community, you kind of got to follow the rules and you got to treat others with respect. But that's about it. You get to define what your rules are. So now I'll take a couple questions if you guys have it, comments, and then that leads us right into learning to say no, which if you're a mom, a wife, you have a job, or you own a business, learning to say no is really powerful. Linda, do you have any questions about comparing?
No, I don't. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's move right ahead with learning to say no. I remember when I worked at the dental office where I worked for 15 years, it was this very interesting dynamic. The community, it was 15 women working together, and there was a lot of things that because I was the person who was there the longest, I kind of got stuck with helping the new people. And of course, I always wanted to be helpful, but I realized I was starting to resent training the new people, not getting paid for that, always being the helper, teaching, showing, and I had to decide, am I going to say no to doing this? No, because I'm way too nice of a person. I'm not going to not help the new person at work. But what I did do is go to my boss and ask if I could help put together a training manual for the office and some sort of guidelines for where we keep things, how we keep things, and ordering procedures, kind of like a policies and procedures manual. And he put me in charge of that. I got paid extra for that. And that was, well, one, it made me feel validated. It made me feel more important. But it also allowed me to empower the new people at work rather than just showing them everything. They had to learn some things for themselves. So it was really, really good. Now, if you struggle with saying no, first is learning to say no. There's always a right way to say it. Letting people know you have other things to do, or maybe, if it's family, especially, it's a little difficult. If it's business, I was recently asked to participate in something that was going to cost $75. And I said, not that I don't have the $75, but I really didn't see what the value was for me. And I just said, well, at this time, it's not something that I need to do in my business. And I just kind of left it at that. So learning to actually, instead of just avoiding, normally I would have just ignored the email and the conversation. I would have just kind of brushed past it. But instead, I was like, no, that's not quite the direction I'm looking to go in my business. Number two, if you're still working at a corporate job, not for yourself, avoid doing the jobs for them. Now, this was really big as a mom. I only have one child, so I would do a lot of things for my son, and learning to not always do everything for him actually was more work because I constantly had to remind him to do stuff. Anybody with kids understands that. But what it was doing, by me doing it for him, because he wasn't moving fast enough or wasn't doing it exactly the way I wanted it done, was really making him feel like he didn't do a good job. It was making him feel like the way he was doing it wasn't acceptable. So what I would do is get him started on a task. Hey, we're going to clean your room today. Start with this, this, and this, and then I would leave the room. So it was helping, but letting him take that initiative. Now, wondering why he can't get the work done, or wondering why some of my clients can't get the work done, maybe I've given them too much to do. Or maybe they don't know how to say, no, I'm not ready for more work. And kind of stepping into that, and instead of placing that judgment of, oh, they don't get their work done. Oh, that person I work with doesn't get their work done. Maybe they have more work than you. Maybe they have something going on at home that's affecting that. So being kinder with that judgment helps you say no more often as well. All right, now staying calm is super important. So when we're asked to do something and it's a little over the top, or we just can't handle another thing, sometimes we might get angry, frustrated, or our voice, shows that anger and frustration. So when somebody asks you to do something, staying calm, taking a deep breath, maybe just, okay, let me see what I can do. And then making the decision in your own time rather than when you're put on the spot. I know my default always used to be yes, until I started taking a breath and saying, let me look at my schedule and get back to you. That got me off the hook with making a commitment right there when someone was standing in front of me or on the phone. Let me take a look at my schedule. I have to jump off the phone right now for another call, but let me look at my schedule and get back to you. This way, I was able to, hey, all right, is this event or extra client or extra work, is it in alignment with my goals and my business, or is it just busy work? And that helped me say no a lot more often. And that's one of the number one things I teach my executive clients who have, hundreds of people that they manage. Not making those quick, immediate decisions, not constantly running from fire to fire to fire, putting it out, taking a second, taking a step back, not getting angry and frustrated when others approach you with work. And that really helps. And then saying no to your family or your kids or your boss can be equally challenging. Sometimes your kids are harder than your boss. I remember my boss, before it was me, was so easy to say no to. He was accommodating and understanding. Saying no to my kid is way harder. I have to explain why. I can't just use the because I said so nonsense, because I promised I wouldn't be like that as a parent, because that's how my parents were. So saying no to those people in your life can be really difficult, but letting them know your plate is full or that date is full, trying to compromise, sometimes that doesn't work. It has to be a clear yes, or like I tell people, a hell yes. If it's not a hell yes, it's probably a no, and you're just saying yes to make the other person feel good, or so they don't get mad at you. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Trying to, everything you do needs to be a hell yes. One of this book I was reading, and I can't remember the name of it, said that the girl writing the book said, I want to be a fuck yeah friend. And I was like, what's that mean? That's the friend who calls and says, do you want to do this? And everybody's like, fuck yeah, I want to do that. And stepping into being that person who's doing fun things, exciting things, who people are excited to be around, that comes from being able to say no to the crap. And that's where I'm going to leave you. Be that person that when it's a yes, it's a hell yes. I'm excited to help you move, said no one ever. So if it's not a hell yes, then it's probably a no. And it's pretty black and white. There's not a lot of gray area between yes and no. All right. Questions from you guys? Unmute. Linda's the only one left with us. Everybody else is going to be checking the replay.
All right. So I just wanted to say, I have a hard time saying no at times, especially if my boss is asking me, well, can you work this day? And I have something to do. And I have a hard time saying just no, I can't. I feel like I always have to explain myself and get into this whole big thing of why I can't do it. And I need to learn to stop doing that.
Yeah. I think that comes back to either confidence, or that maybe when you were a kid, maybe people didn't believe you.
Right.
And that was one of my struggles as well, because I used to have to lie or fib, I call it, to get to go places where my friends were allowed, because I wasn't allowed. My mom was very strict. So there was always this, oh, are you sure you're telling the truth thing in my subconscious? And that's a big thing with saying just a flat out, no, I can't work that day. No, I can't work that day. Unless somebody says why, you don't have to give any more than that.
Right. Right.
I mean, obviously, you work a job. There's going to be times where, hey, you're scheduled on Friday. Could you work Saturday instead, because so-and-so needs off on Friday and I don't have enough coverage? there's going to be times when that happens and you're going to say yes to it. I'm sure you say yes to it plenty of times.
Right. And there are times where I say yes, and I really need no, but I just do it anyway because I want to be a good employee, So
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So that's about that personal boundary, and maybe setting a limit. Like, how many times are you going to say yes to that and have it affect your personal life?
Right.
So, family time, what's the priority? If Saturday was a family day scheduled, or your kid's game or dance recital, whatever it was, and you're going to miss that, well, is that what working's supposed to benefit your life, not have you missing your life?
Exactly.
So, yeah, unless somebody asks why, oh, I'm so sorry. I would love to help you out tomorrow, but I have XYZ planned. You don't have to add the XYZ unless you have a close relationship with your boss.
Right.
It can be just, no, I'm not available tomorrow. I'm so sorry. If you give me a week or two notice, I'm happy to work on a Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How would that feel if you said that instead?
Yeah, that would feel good. That would feel good.
Awesome.
But I know that my first instinct is to say I can't because blah blah blah, and I need to just I don't really need to, get I could just be brief about it and say, no, I can't. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you can say sorry. There's a lot of school of thought on apologizing for
True.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a big apologizer for every little, oh, I'm so sorry, I have to cancel. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. And it was constant. And I had to look at that, like, why am I always apologize? I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, and that was something that I really had to look at. So if you're sorry all the time, are you really sorry? No, I'm not really sorry. I was 10 minutes late. There was a lot of traffic.
Right.
So am I really sorry for that? No. Maybe I should have left earlier. Yeah. But I think apologizing all the time is that, again, hey, Tony, what's up, girl? Again, saying sorry all the time comes back to confidence as well.
Yes.
And taking a moment, like, am I really sorry? Am I really sorry because I can't work on Saturday? Boss? No, I'm not sorry. I'm glad I'm saying I can't work on Saturday because I'd rather be with my family. So.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
Well, I'm sorry I'm late.
That's okay. No, well, you're at work, honey. That's okay. You can catch the replay or listen to it on your way home. I'm going to put a copy of the 2 mind maps I have for stop comparing yourself and saying no, and your challenge for the weekend, or maybe even one day. Linda's going to try one day and see how it feels, is first thing in the morning, at least till 1 o'clock, not getting on social media. There goes her eyes. I know. So I didn't say you couldn't post on social media for your business. Okay. So when you first get up in the morning, have at least 2 hours where you don't have any inputs. So no TV, no news, no phone, 2 hours, and do your morning routine, breakfast, exercise, journal, whatever you do in the morning. Go to the gym without your phone. Oh my God, how do I do it? Yes, you can do it. Do a workout at home, whatever you normally do, and don't touch that phone. And if you need to post on social media for your business, absolutely. We should talk later about automating your social media for business. That'll be coming up soon. In the other mastermind that you're a part of. Okay. And I would say don't look at anybody else's shit for one day. No pictures, no Instagram, no Facebook, and just see how you feel. Just see how you feel. Do you feel better about yourself? Do you feel thinner? Do you feel prettier? Do you feel like you have more to say? Do you feel more confident? Do you feel more motivated in your business to reach out to people because you didn't just see 20 other people doing the same thing as you? Maybe.
And thinking to yourself, oh, wow, they're way ahead of the game than I am because they already posted.
Yes, definitely. Well, and I want both of you to remember Tony meet Linda, Linda meet Tony. You're both in network marketing, and what happens when you're with a company is you're friends with a lot of people in the same company, and you see everything they're doing. So I would challenge you, who are those people that trigger that feeling of not enoughness in your company? You know, those rock stars that make it look so easy and so effortless.
Yeah.
Unfollow them for 30 days. Now, if you need to see something of theirs, you can still go to their page and look, but you're looking on your time, not when you're scrolling.
So you could be friends with them, but just unfollow them.
No, not even unfollow. You just snooze them for 30 days and Facebook won't show you any of their posts.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And see how it feels not to see that person every day being their perfect, sculpted, fabulous, selling self. Like, just see how it feels. And it's not saying you can't learn great stuff. There's a girl who's with a company called Modere. And she never talks about what company she's from. She's awesome at attraction marketing. She mentors other network marketing professionals. I follow her all the time. She is an awesome example at what attraction marketing is, because I loved her so much. I went to her website. I'm like, what company is she with? I got to know. I love her. Couldn't find anything. And she literally built a kick-ass team for herself, never talking about what she sells, ever. So I follow her for that reason, because it's amazing to watch somebody do it so well. So her name is Julie Burke, if you want to look her up. And that's somebody, well, she's skinny and she's pretty and all of that, but what she's doing on social media for her business is so organic that she has people reaching out to her all day long to be part of her company.
Is she Mom Strong?
Yes, that's her new blog, I think. Yeah. So just give it a look over and see that attraction marketing can be done really, really well, or it can be done really, really poorly. Now, she's a business coach. She has, business courses for sale, how to do Instagram, how to do LinkedIn, how to do Facebook, that kind of stuff. You don't need that, but look at how she does attraction marketing. Mm-hmm. And she has said numerous times on her Facebook Lives that she doesn't look at what anybody else is doing. The only time she looks at somebody's Facebook profile is if they've messaged her, they're interested in joining her team, and she'll go and look them up before she gets on a phone call with them. That's it. So see how that feels this weekend. See if you can commit to one day of not having any inputs. If you could do it for the whole day, awesome. If at 1:00 you're feeling like, oh my God, I need to do it, maybe we need to talk about a digital detox so you're not comparing yourself as much.
I don't think I am I see it first thing when I finally do get on, but I do get a lot of my ideas because we share the same things. I just tweak them a little. or I save them for later. But a lot of my girls that I follow and I'm looking to see what they're doing, schedule their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I got to get on that.
Yeah.
Because then I don't have to worry about it so much. I don't have to pick up my phone except to respond to inquiries and stuff.
Yeah, and you can do that, once a day. You don't need to do that 20 times a day. 90% of what I post is scheduled, except in my group coaching programs. That's a little bit more organic. But I will say that one thing freed up so much time for me that sometimes I don't know what to do with myself.
And that's when you just call me.
And that's when I'm like, oh my God, maybe I'll clean. Maybe I'll do laundry. Maybe I'll, go out and be in the world because I don't have as much work to do because, busy work and actual work, two different things. So just notice that for one day this weekend and see how it feels.
Yeah. Good idea.
All right. Awesome.